welcome back. So, for this session, if I talk about the year 2020, I am sure you all there will agree with me to the fact that we saw a lot of shifts, especially in the business workspace and the flow of communication. And majorly, we witnessed a rapid shift to online and screen based communication, right? Many businesses pivoted towards online communities to build closer, more meaningful relationship with their customers, their audiences, and of course their clients. At the same time, individuals were driven to connect with friends and family digitally. Not just this, they also joined formal and informal groups and communities that matched their interests, their passions, or professions. And it's fair to say, if the word of the year 2022 isn't community, then it's had to be related to crypto, NFTs, DAOs, or the metaverse. And to talk about all of this, we have another amazing panel of community thought leaders. Allow me to call upon the stage our moderator for this panel discussion, Nikhil Sharma, Associate Director at Grazidi Interactive. Nikhil has more than 13 years of global work experience in the IT engineering field. He is responsible for executing and managing client deliveries for the web dev, quality assurance, and digital marketing teams. Also, he holds a strong technical business management, client servicing, and business strategy development skills. So here's Nikhil with our next panel discussion, Decoding the Tomorrow of Communities with Future Predictions. Over to you, Nikhil.
Thank you, Sana, and hello, everyone. I think we have already set the stage for future of communities would look like. So, what does the future of community would look like really? I know that if there is one thing that's constant, it's change. And as communities evolve, community managers will need all the insights that they can get to steer communities toward greater engagement and the growth. Who better than the wizards who practice the communities day in and out can do the crystal gazing for us? So, here is our panelist. First of all, I would like to introduce Jefta Abu, who is a product community manager at Ahoy Connect. He has extensive experience building inclusive and diverse communities for B2B brands, tech startups, as well as software as a service companies. Welcome, Jefta.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nikhil.
Next, I have, yeah, thank you. And next, I have Yuri Lazaruk, community manager at Code Control, as well as community development consultant. And as we were just discussing, he has recently moved to Poland. Yay! We can see Yuri. And he has built largest community of sales experts. He's one of the largest experts in Ukraine, and he has recently moved to Poland, as we were just talking. And he's founder of SEO Club, a community of SEO and PPC specialists, marketers, developers, copywriters, and designers. You manage a lot of people, Yuri. Wonderful. And next, last but not least, I have Jeffrey Roy, who is Senior Community Manager at Decision Link. His team is building a community in which people can use the power of online video to drive brand growth, which is again the futuristic approach, I would say. And hey, Jeffrey.
Hi everyone.
And he also serves as a host for Tampa Bay, Florida chapter for CMX Correct, bringing all the community professionals together from across the globe for discussions, for new updates, and all the new technology that's coming in. Welcome all, guys. Thank you for joining us, Jefta, Yuri, and Jeffrey.
Thank you, Nikhil. It was a great
Great. So-
introduction.
Thank you. Nice. I'm looking forward to have an amazing conversation with all of you guys. So let's rock it.
So let's begin, guys. So first thing, Jefta, for you. So as you have extensive experience in building inclusive, diverse communities, as we were just talking, for business-to-business brand, tech startups, SaaS-based companies. So will the user content that is generated, would this continue to prevail in the communities at the moment?
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for that question. So, in terms of user content, I feel like there's a phrase we have community generated content and user generated content in the community. Basically, this is content that the community generates in like short term. But working across different industries, there's a pattern to it, and there's some things that are changed, but it's the same content. For example, in a B2B community, you might not have like executives or big business brands like putting out content, because basically most B2B communities are providing like enterprise softwares or providing a huge service. So you might not have as much user generated content compared to B2C or compared to SaaS. I think the most content I've seen in my time is SaaS companies, startups, and fintech and B2C, because these are the communities where you are trying to like generate that feedback from your customer. So I'll say the user content doesn't wouldn't really change in the future, but it will be more streamlined. For example, I see you generating money, like income from your content, like a way to monetize it. Like, okay, if you post this certain amount of time, in terms of gamification, you get a point, and this point can reward to like a dollar system. So I'm going to see this content becoming more streamlined and more monetized, especially in the future. Like I said, in all areas, content differs, to be honest.
Great. So, any other Jeffrey or Yuri, you want to take about the user content generated? Would this be prevailing in the communities? You want to take a shot at this, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, I definitely agree with Jeff's point about the generation of user generated content being different depending on what vertical you're sort of playing in. Definitely in the B2C space, the incentive for community members to generate their own original content is kind of baked into the whatever product it is or service they're buying. But yeah, I think that with B2B, it's drawing that out a little bit further. Depending on which vertical you're in might determine how you're framing the content with your community members in terms like, are they generating it, or are you creating content that they could sort of like fit into? I think in the startup space, when we think about content, we're sort of creating maybe like avatars for our community members or things like that, where they might be assuming the likeness of avatars in the community.
True.
But yeah.
Yeah, and Jeff just mentioned that the monetization of the content would be the next, looking at the feature that has to be created. So going forward, monetization is going to be huge.
Yeah, the incentive there is pretty high.
Right. Okay. So Yuri, as you have been building communities, you have been the community sales expert, you have been founding specialist communities for SEO, PPC. So how do you think the artificial intelligence and the machine learning, which is like the futuristic languages, will reshape our online communities?
It's really interesting because what I've seen like before, it's not that amazing, but sometimes it can, be like people, but not that much. And also what I believe in the future, what this data science can give us is a better understanding of people mood, and we can understand if they are writing, oh, I like it very much, we will understand whether they really like it or not. So we will understand what is the intention behind the words. And I believe it can help really very much for community managers, because you can think that everything okay, but everything might be not okay. So I always have this thing that if people tell me that, oh great, oh good, oh amazing, I'm always asking them, tell me what's wrong, otherwise I won't believe you. So here is the same. I believe that all this data science will help us to understand people better.
Right. As in one of our sessions, our CEO was mentioning that how the Google Home and the Alexas has taken over with the voice commands, and the way we produce the content to themselves, and they know what we want, and they have their own choices. So I think this sort of new age with artificial intelligence, chatbots coming in, you have more of a now voice chats coming in where you just messages, and this content would be generated, I think, more on the voice basis itself. So this has to be the major turning point coming up.
And it can definitely save your time, because
Yeah.
Community builder don't have to be a part of every conversation. So there are some conversation where you can't leave people to chatbots, but like 90% of questions, if it's a support community or if it's community of experts, like 99, like okay, not 99, 95% of content is repeating. So new people keep asking the same questions. So for these purposes, you can definitely use chatbots and all the stuff. You can just save your time and other people's time. But there are like, when people reach out to you when they have real challenges and they want to hear, they want to listen, real people on another side. So no chatbot will help you with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
To add to what you said, I saw like a tweet recently from somebody that the person predicted that AI would, like in next 5 years, AI will be the leading community manager in terms of moderating community. And what was so interesting was like the comments below were not from community managers at all, but actually like random users. And they were explaining how that personalized touch, like that humanized touch in terms of like community, it can't be photocopied, it can't be like created. Like you might have an AI, but it's being programmed to do some specific things. Like to what we have if a community member tells you, hey, I'm pregnant now, the AI will probably respond to how it was programmed to, like, hey, it's going to be fine. But community is more of that humanized touch, like that one-on-one interaction. And that's why it's very tricky. So, like to piggyback on what Yui said, I feel like AI and machine learning can be used to automate processes in terms of like maybe welcoming users, like reporting issues in the community, like submitting requests, like a lot of things. But in terms of that human interaction, I think that's when community managers take play, like like being an empath. I don't think you can create an empathetic AI to like know human emotions because you are programmed. So I think that's like the balance, like automating the same processes that we do, but you still have that humanized touch by community managers.
Yeah, I definitely think that there have been strides made to improve AI in terms of how it can detect human emotion, but we're definitely not there yet. And I think at this point, it would require a lot of input from the end user in terms of indicators about what a particular member might be feeling. So when we think about how we can use AI or machine learning to improve the member experience, it's definitely still at the community manager level, right? So you have to think about, well, we've got all these mechanisms in place that help us with reporting structures and frameworks about how we're going to track engagement. How can we leverage AI and machine learning to streamline that more effectively for us as community managers, so that way it can eliminate some of the manual work that we have to do in drilling down into exactly what it is motivating our community members to do certain things within their respective communities, and then being able to approach them in an educated way to say, we hear you. Letting them know that they're seen and they're heard in that way, so that we can provide a better experience.
Right. So I think what you all gentlemen just said, that so there should be initial level of AI ML. It's okay, but the human touch shouldn't go away, because then the value of community goes away. Because a person who comes to community to get his queries answered, to put something, and if it's all machine, then probably he would not have that interest. So human touch has to be there.
Absolutely.
AI can't raise children, but it's very similar to that. Community building is very similar to raising children.
Great. So, Jeffrey, to you, as you are building a community in which, as you were talking, that people can use online video to drive brand growth and all. So, the next big thing which is coming in for crypto and NFT communities. So, what are your thoughts for futuristic communities? Would this be somewhere where we have the value from crypto and NFT?
Yeah, and I admittedly my knowledge in this arena is quite limited, but from what I do know and what I've learned so far about Web3 and crypto, is that I think the what we have to maintain as a priority is ensuring that there are safeguards in place for these kinds of communities. In the little time that I've spent learning about this, I became aware of sort of the pay to play model, and there was I became aware of a mobile game that was being heavily used internationally, specifically though within the Philippines, called Axie Infinity, and it utilized that pay to play model. But there was an incident where the platform had gotten hacked, and I think they lost $624 million due to this hack. And as a result, there were a number of big banks that had to step in and venture capitalist firms that had to step in to sort of bail out the company because their users lost all their money. And these are, real people that are using the platform as a means to generate additional income. So that's a huge community moderation crisis that you would have on your hands, and if you don't have the proper safeguards in place to protect your community members from something like that, your platform, your brand, whatever it is, whatever space that you're operating in, you're going to be in big trouble.
True. I think, yeah, absolutely. You're right with the news. There was a major hack recently also, and where the millions of dollars was just went away in few seconds, I think, and people were just quite gazing at what happened. Yeah, we have to make sure the barriers, the gatekeepers needs to be more stronger where the NFT and crypto, because again, as you said, that AI is also coming into communities in an initial stage. So is the NFT and cryptos. So I think we have to manage that. Great. So anyone, Jefta or Yuri, you want to jump in on this question? If you want to take about crypto in your experience, have you faced any such incident where crypto or NFT coming by in your communities?
You, do you want to go first, or should I go first?
Go, Jeff, because I have no experience in crypto and NFTs. So
Okay, awesome. So I actually worked for an NFT brand for like 7 months. So basically, the brand was in charge of or basically what the brand was doing was we're creating a storefront, like imagine Shopify, but for NFT. So you have like a storefront. So if you're a NFT artist, you can have a storybook and buy your NFT. So we're working with underrepresented artists in the Caribbean, in Africa. So what I noticed from the NFT space is that it's a bit fast paced because a lot of people are trying a lot of things at once. Like we're trying to do this, we're trying to do that. But in terms of community, so I would say properly defining what your community is in terms of what you want to achieve is key, because most NFT brands, they define community as people. That's just it, like people in their community, because it also helps with like raising funds, because the higher number of like users you have in your community, the better you stand a chance, especially on Discord. But that is a sand pit, because you look at numbers rather than engagement and interaction. So people come to your Discord server to like, maybe you have an airdrop or you have something, and they sort of get it and they leave. So it became very transactional. And this is not shit to anyone, but most NFT Discord servers I've joined, I hardly like even know what's going on, because there's so many activities going on in terms of like different servers, different channels in the servers. So if you are not so what's the word, learned, it becomes hard for you. And that's one of the things for community platforms, the learning curve. Like most people know how to use WhatsApp in Nigeria. People might not know how to use Discord. People know how to use Telegram. People might not know how to use Slack. So it became a learning point for me, because I'm like, how do you now define a community when there's already an obstacle being a lot of like hindrances and a lot of like, I'm not interested in NFTs. But I see that the whole of Web3, there's a future in it, especially the community space. I'll say right now, my own view on Web3 is it's in research mode. So a lot of people are trying out a lot of things, from DAOs to NFTs to like a lot of things. So it's like we're trying to see what works and how we can stabilize it before we can build on. But the buzzword is community. They're just trying to build a community. But if you notice instinctively, most people are not there because of like they really are interested, but because there's a transaction. So I see it shifting further to become more stable in the future.
Right. I think that's wonderfully proven and wonderfully said, Jefta. I think before we just leave, I think we can a quick question to all three guest gentlemen here. So, as per your thoughts, what are the upcoming technologies which are like will enhance the user experience of community? Because everybody wants to have the best of the communities. Everybody wants to have the more traffic coming in. Everybody wants to have the the best user experience from all these communities created. So, Yuri, what do you think that what's quick? Let's take it quick questions and answering. I know Sana is here and she might be looking at the time, but the upcoming technologies, Yuri, for you.
Very quick. I would like to have a tool that allows you to automate some standard messaging, because sometimes you have to reach out to people, sometimes you have to invite them to events, sometimes you have to do repeatable stuff, but it's still a personal touch, because even if I send the same message for 10 people, I'm still asking them for a personal answer. So some tool that allows you to do this automation and still keep it personal would help a lot.
Great. Jeffrey.
Yeah, mine would be going back to sort of that reporting thing. Streamline our reporting so we can get down to the nitty gritty of what our community members want from us, and also allow us to pivot in our strategy in a more graceful way. We can do it faster. We can be more nimble about it, because no matter what technologies are out there, your strategy and making sure that it's connected to both your community members and your internal organization is of paramount importance.
True.
Yeah.
Jefta?
So I would say analytics, because obviously I work with a community analytic software company. So analytics is something that is very tricky for community managers, because it's basically saying, how do you define that community is important? Or what are the metrics you use to show that everything is important? So in terms of active members, in terms of like your non-active members, how do you show the importance of community to like C-level? Because I know most community managers, we face this obstacle. Like, hey, we want to plan a community event, there's no budget, because it's like, why should we do it? It's like we're already getting, there's no value from the community. But with this matrix, like we can present it in terms of like a presentation or like a table and say, this is why the community is important. Based on this, how many members actually ask questions? So I'll say analytics, like in terms of community analytics. And I wouldn't want to like toot my own horn, but Ahoy does a great job in actually like doing community analytics. So yeah.
Great. I think only time will tell that if these predictions that we have been talking about future would turn out to be correct, or we do not know, right? But I can say that we are in the best of the times, and in fact we are through the interesting times and the facts which are turning out. AI, ML, crypto, NFTs, DAO, and so many things are happening. And after this pandemic, the communities has been evolving at a greater stage. So, gentlemen, thank you so much. I would really like to thank again Jefta, Jeffrey, Yuri. It's been wonderful talking to you, and have a great day, guys. Everyone, thank you, and over to you, Sana.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so
Bye.
much, Dr. Yuri and Jeffrey. And Nikhil, you guys were amazing. Thank you so much for
Thanks,
joining
Sana.
us today. And next up is a panel discussion titled Determining the True Value of Brand Advocates in Communities. We'll see you all there.